Hi Anil, good morning.
Hi Shrikant, good morning.
Anil, share your screen and go through your topic.
Okay. Is it visible, Shrikant?
Yes, Anil.
Yeah, okay. Today topic about attribute dimensions, and we will see how to use and what is the need of it and in different categories also, where the attribute dimensions are used to make a group of members together or to categorize the members for standard dimensions. Mm. From the next slide, in this topic, we will able to see how to use of attribute dimensions in the following artifacts in data forms, RTPs, and business rules. And in Smart View, we'll see in this topic how to use the attribute in the following attributes. Now, in the next slide, we will see the creation of attribute dimensions. First, what is an attribute generally? Can you give me an example of an attribute in the Amazon app? In general way, the attribute is two categories or a group of members together to make a member together. From Amazon app, you can see that there is a fashions and electronic appliances. These are the categories, and you can see in Amazon of like sizes, different sizes by clicking the size options, by the type of the fashions you can choose, like occasionally or by traditional. There are some options. Those are the attributes. By clicking on the type, you can see that particular type. This that shows the group of members, the parameters which were added. And the second one, can you explain the difference between the standard dimension and the attribute dimensions? uh, Standard dimensions are the dimensions which are created when we creating the by application creation, and the standard dimension are used for the business process. And coming to the attribute dimensions, and attribute dimensions are created after the application creation, and those are assigned for the standard dimension of sparse dimensions. And attribute dimensions are used for reporting purpose. And in which case do you prefer attribute dimension over standard dimensions? For this question, uh, if you want to category or group something, group some of the members together, in that case, we use attribute dimensions. As from the Amazon app example, you can see if you want to see the size of the cloths, size of the dresses by size. Uh, you can see the type of size you clicking, and then you getting the different sizes category. Like that, you can, in that case, you use the attribute dimensions. Can we assign an attribute to a dense or a sparse dimensions? As we can assign the attribute dimensions to dense and sparse, but we cannot create attribute dimensions for the dense dimensions. We can only create for the sparse dimension. Uh, and the next question is, can you show me how to create an attribute dimension? Yes, I'm going to the application now, and I will see. Now we will see how to create the attribute dimension. Click on the navigator, and then go to the dimensions. Create and manage under click on dimensions. Then you need to select which dimension you want. Account is the dense dimension, so you cannot create attribute dimension for the account, and remaining all dimensions are the sparse dimensions. You can add, create a attribute dimension. For that, I'm going to the entity dimension. After that, you need to select the entity and go for actions. Click on the custom attribute. Now you can create attribute by clicking on the plus icon here. After clicking, you will get the name and the type you need to select. Here, create attribute, you need to give the name and the data type. You need to select the data type which you want to use, a text or date or boolean or numeric. And then you need to click on save to save the attribute. After clicking save, you can see here which is already I have added the reason and the text of here it will display here. After that you need to add the childs to that particular attribute dimension. So click on the reason and click on add child to add the childs for that attribute. Then you need to give the name. This is about the region, so I am entering the name as Canada and I click on save. After that, you will see the existing one, which is I have already created Euro and USA and Median Eastern region, and now I added the Canada here as a child of region. This is the hierarchy of the attribute dimension members. So these are. This is how we can create the attribute dimensions for standard dimensions of a sparse dimension. Now we will go into the PPT. Can you show me how to assign the attribute dimension to a standard dimension? Now we will see how to assign the attribute dimension for the standard dimensions. Now going to the application, click on the navigator, go to dimensions. First, before that, you need to close it. After clicking on the dimensions, you will land here. If you want this is the entity dimension, so I want to add here I am selecting legal entity 1. Click on edit. Then you land into the member property space tab, then click on the attribute values tab. Here you can see the region which is created as attribute, and you can assign the members for that. Here already I added USA. Now I'm adding as a Europe, and then click on add. Then the region has changed it to Europe. Only you can add only single member for that standard dimension. This is then after that you need to click on save to save those changes. Then it shows successfully. This is how we can assign the attribute dimensions for the standard dimensions. Now it has been assigned. Now going to the slides. Coming to fourth slide, the uses of attributes in data forms. How we'll use and what is the use of attribute dimensions in a data form, we will see. The first question, can you show how to use attribute dimensions in the data form in the page drop down and show me how the standard dimension members are filtered? He said that use the attribute dimension in the data form in the page drop down and show me how the standard members dimensions are filtered. Now for that we need to go to the application. Click on the navigator and click on the forms card. You need to expand the library folder and you need to select the which form. I am selecting here the data entity existing form and clicking on edit. Click on layout. Under attribute dimension, here you can see the existing attribute dimensions which we have created the reason as per as from the PPT. He said you need to drag it to the page drop down. So I added here. Click on edit, and you can add the members of the particular region and click on OK. And you can see by clicking the preview option how the page will be. And here is the point of view. Click on here and you will see the region as Europe. By click on the region and you can select the members as you need. By clicking on the by selecting on the page, the user can select the particular region he want to see in the form. Now coming to the slides. Here is the tip: use any of the existing data attribute dimension. If not available, then create one of the following hierarchy, which is a region, and under that these are the members, which I have already created and shown you how to create the attribute dimension. And here are the some of the questions. If missing and zero settings is enabled, and show me how the standard members are filtered for attribute members. And can you move the attribute dimension to the POV and explain the outfit of it? And can you move attribute dimension to the rows and explain the outcome of it? Can you move the attribute dimension to the columns and explain the outfit of it? Yes, we can move the attribute dimension to POV and as rows and as also in columns we can move, and we will see how the output will be. If you select the attribute dimension in POV, based on the member selection on application creation, the form will display here. And coming to rows means the attribute dimension displays on the forms in rows, and as well as in columns, it will displays in the columns. Now we'll see in the navigation how the output will be. This is the attribute dimension. First I am dragging to the point of view. Here I'm selecting one of the member and click on OK. After that I'm clicking preview to see whether here the region Europe was added here. You can also drag to the rows. Now click on the preview. Here you can see the Europe is in the row, which we added the attribute dimension under rows. Now we will see the attribute dimension in the columns. I just dragged onto the columns, and we will see in the preview part how it will reflect. And now the attribute dimension was added under columns. This is the outfit of outcomes of using of attribute dimension under columns. And then finally Then finally click on save. This is the process how we can you add the attribute dimensions in pivot and in rows and in columns, and seeing how the outcome will be. Now coming to the next slide. The uses of attribute dimension in RTP. Can you assign the attribute dimension or attribute members in the RTP? Yes, we can assign the attribute dimension members in the RTPs. If it is as, can you assign the attribute dimension or attributes in the RTP, and we will see how to use. And can you show me only a few attribute dimensions limited in the RTPs, only APAC and Europe from the above one. Now we will see. Go to the application. Close these tabs. From the navigator, click on navigator. Under create and manage, click on rules. Under actions, click on variable design. You need to expand the application. Under console, you need to select console. Under here actions, so you need to click the new one to add the new RTPs. You need to give the name. After giving name, you need to select the type. Here you need to select the type as a member. After that, you need to select on the dimensions, the dimension. Here is the region attribute dimension. I selected as a region. After that, you need to check enable the RTP. Here is the limitations. You can limit the RTPs. Yeah, by there are the two options. Is one is member and functions. Now I am selecting here as a member. You need to expand the region here. Then you can see the attributes and click on USA, and I am adding USA. So Euro. Then click on OK. Now the limitation was added, and for default members you need to click here. For that I am using functions by clicking on the functions. These are the functions names which are available. For that we need to select as a attribute here and click on for attribute number selection. We need to click here selected. Under that you need to click on mm, click on click on members. Here you need to select the dimension, which is a region, and you need to expand here. I am adding US here and click on OK. And click on OK to save the result value. Now the default function attribute was added here, and then to save this you need to click here. Beside actions there is a save option. You need to click on the save options to save the RTP. Before that we need to give the test. I forgot to give the test, so it throws an error. For that you need to give the test what we want to shown in the business rules. So I'm enter the attribute function. So I use the function, so I am giving the function. After that we need to click on save. Now you can see it was successful. Then click on OK. This is how we can add the limitations by using RTPs for the attribute dimensions. Now going to the slides, and we will see how the usage of attribute dimensions in business rules. Uh, can you show me how many functions are available to use attributes in the business rules? And can you show me at least two functions of the attributes in the business rules? Expectations, choose any random attribute members and choose any random contribution of the standard dimensions and create an input sheet in Smart View. Create an output sheet in the Smart View and create a business rule with the attribute functions and execute the business rules and show me the result in the output sheet creation. Now we will see how to create the business rules and how we use the attribute dimensions there. Going to the application, click on the system view. Now expand here. Expand the console. There you can see the rules, and by right clicking you will see the new option. By clicking on the new, you can add the new rule. You can simply go to the actions, and by clicking the new option also you can get the new. I have already created. By clicking here you will see the RTP. Under scripted page you need to give the name fix between the RTP name here. After that you need to click on save to save the changes, and I will see after that you need to click save. Now the attribute is saved, then click on OK. Here you can see the RTP which is I recently added. Then after that you need to click on validate to check whether there is any errors or not. Now the validation was successful, the rule validation with no errors, then click on OK. After validating, you need to click on deploy option. Here under actions, there is a deploy option. Click on deploy. Then the deployment was successful. Then click on OK. And then we will see in the business rule how it is. So leave this. Go to application. From the navigator, click on rules. Here you will see the custom rule attribute which we have created. So under you need to click on launch. As you can see, which I have added as a member, which is pre-built one I added, and now I added the function by using functions of attributes dimension I added, which is USA already selected. You can select the members, and the text which we enter in the RTP text like enter the attribute functions was displayed here. This is how we use attribute dimensions in RTPs. How we assign those deploy in the business rules. This is all about. And now coming to the slides. And now we will see how what is the uses of attributes in the Smart View. For that, can you show me how to insert of an attribute in the Smart View, and can you show me a report with the attribute dimension, and expectations to choose any two random combinations, standard dimensions for each attribute dimension, and associate with, and enter any random numbers in those combinations, and so and explain how input bus are reported by each of the attribute dimension members as a pack as an example. And so now for that you need to go to open the Excel sheet. Click on the blank worksheet, then click on Smart View, then click on Panel. Here you need to select as a private connection, and you need to select here the Smart View URL. You need to enter with your then click on Go. Now expand application, then open any form. Here is the data entry form. Before that I want to check the separation blocks, and I want to apply for all the sheets of the Excel. After that, click on data entry form and click on ad hoc analysis. Then the form will open here. And I chosen here March, so selecting the March. My period is I'm selecting my POV. Click on OK. And the reason is in POV, so you need to enter the attribute name USA, and you need to click on enter and click refresh. Now you can see the attribute member USA was added on the columns by giving the which under reason I selected as a USD. So after that you have entered here USD, and then you need to enter and then just click preface. Then the USD attribute member was added here. For this is how we use the attribute dimension in the Smart View. Now coming to the slides. In this topic, we have concluded source the uses of attribute values in the following artifacts in data forms and RTPs and in business tools and Smart View. And thank you, Shrikant. This is about my topic.
Thank you, Anil.
Thank you, Shrikant.